We always think we'll be fine if we just learn more grammar. Memorize more words. Watch more videos. But when you actually need English in a real moment, none of that matters if you panic. Because English isn't just something you study. It's something you live. And one of the best ways to feel it is through real stories. Stories that sound like your life. That prepare you for moments you can't plan. So let's see what happens when you really need English. And no one around understands it. I had a flight early in the morning. It was a small international airport. Not too busy. I arrived with my backpack-ready passport in hand. Everything was on time. Until I got to the check-in counter. And suddenly something didn't feel right. The woman behind the desk looked at my ticket. Then looked confused. She spoke fast. But it wasn't English. I listened again. Still nothing. I smiled and asked if she spoke English. She shook her head. Then called someone else. That person came. Still no English. They pointed to the screen and said something again. I couldn't understand. For a moment I stood there completely lost. No translator. No signs in English. I tried using hand gestures. Pointed at my ticket. Showed them the flight number. They kept saying something I couldn't follow. Then walked away to get someone else. I checked my phone. Tried to open a translation app. But the Wi-Fi was slow. It wouldn't load. I felt stuck. Like the world had suddenly gone silent. Even though people were talking everywhere. Finally a man from another line walked over. He saw the confusion. And with a soft voice said, "Maybe I can help." He spoke both English and the local language. He listened to the staff then turned to me. "They're saying your flight has moved to another gate. You need to go upstairs. Through that hallway." I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. I thanked him. And followed the signs. Still no English. But now I knew what to look for. I found the right gate. Showed my documents. And finally sat down to wait. That experience lasted maybe 20 minutes. But it felt like an hour. It reminded me that English is powerful. But it's not always available. And when no one around you speaks it, you start realizing how much we depend on simple words. Not big ones. Just enough to explain. Ask. Understand. After that I started learning how to explain myself with fewer words. How to stay calm when things go wrong. And how to listen even when I don't understand the language. Because communication is not just about words. It's also about patience. Kindness. And staying cool when nothing makes sense. Now let's look at some useful phrases and expressions from this story. Nobody spoke English, a common way to describe a situation where no one understands you. Something didn't feel right, perfect for showing a moment of doubt or confusion. I stood there completely lost, natural way to express feeling confused and unsure. I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding, poetic but simple way to show relief. He saw the confusion, great example of describing body language and situation. Showed my documents, useful phrase in airports and official situations. The Wi-Fi wouldn't load, a casual expression for tech not working. When you experience phrases inside real stories, your brain remembers them more deeply. Because they aren't just words anymore. They're part of a moment. And that's how you grow in English naturally. We upload a story like this every single day. No grammar charts. No boring textbooks. Just real language in real life. So if that's what you want, subscribe. Come back tomorrow. And tell us in the comments. Have you ever been in a place where no one spoke your language? How did you handle it? What did you learn from it? We'd love to hear your story. See you in the next one.